Okay, today I've got a pedal demo for you. I'm going to be talking about what I've found to be the two best pedals for dirty tones at home volumes. Everything from a transparent boost to a mild overdrive to distortion to fuzz. And as you'll see scrolling on the screen, I've been through kind of an embarrassing number of pedals over 20 plus years time, trying to find that sweet spot, that magic of something that's going to sound good whether you're playing with a band, which, newsflash, almost every overdrive pedal sounds good when you're playing at band volumes, but something that also can sound good when you're playing at home, when you're practicing at home at more modest volumes. As you can see, there's a lot of tube screamer variants here on the list, and the other newsflash is tube screamers don't really sound great at home volumes. They can be really good at home if you keep the gain down and the volume turned up, in other words, used as more of a boost, to push your tubes. But when you start cranking the gain on a tube screamer at home volumes, lower volumes, it sounds pretty thin and ratty. Do not recommend it. So the two we're going to be looking at today are the Wampler Euphoria, which is again going to cover everything from that transparent mild boost up to light overdrive. Actually, it can get pretty crunchy too, I just don't use it for that. And for the heavy tones, everything from classic rock distortion to fuzz, I'm going to be using a Mojo Hand Colossus. This is a Sovtek Civil War style Russian big muff variant with extra added tweakability. So you can sort of think of it like your EHX Green Russian reissue with some really, again, crucial added tweaks for about $30 more than a Green Russian used. It's way worth it. So I'm going to show you now how I'm going to have the pedals set up for this demo, and we'll come back and we'll listen to some tones. Okay, so these are the pedals I've pulled off my board for the purpose of this demo. Just gonna have a touch of compression from this amazing Boss digital compressor. Check it out if you haven't, it's amazing. Does not have any of the downsides of traditional compressors. Normally not a huge Boss fan, but I love that pedal. And just a touch, you can see feedback on 0 of digital delay, just a clean delay on the flashback. Okay, so the Euphoria has a 3-position switch. I always have it in the open position. It is branded as a natural transparent overdrive. I don't know if you can read that. So for me, why use it for anything else? That's what it excels at. And I typically like the gain between 9 and noon, and the bass pretty much rolled off. I'm using a Telecaster with a Seymour Duncan bridge pickup and the 5.2 Strat neck pickup. So just a touch bringing back in a little bit of bass. That's what we'll start off there. The Colossus also has a 3-position switch that is actually usable. It's basically the original setting, then slightly more bass, then a ton more bass. I like it in the slightly more bass position, and as you can see, we'll start off with the gain relatively low and the mids, that key mids control, a little above noon. I'll be playing into this wonderful Traynor DarkHorse 15-watt tube amplifier. It's a lunchbox head. It's just amazing. Best sleeper amp I have ever found. And it also has a 3-position switch. This is the theme of the day, and I'll be in the middle section, the pure, which bypasses the tone stack. It gives you an incredible pedal platform, and it also has a full power 6v6 versus 2 watts 12AU7. We'll be in the 6v6 setting. And I'll be playing through this custom mahogany cabinet my dad built, which is loaded with a Mojo Tone Eminence Alnico 1028P. Okay, so here's my clean bypass bypass tone with, again, just the compression and delay, and you can see I don't really have much delay at all going on. Okay, so that's the clean tone. Here's the Wampler. So you can tell it's just got a tad more bite to it. That's with the gain halfway up and just a little bit fuller sound. The clean sound. Wampler. That was the Wampler clean. So you can tell it just adds a little bit of bite, but it's still extremely transparent. It still sounds exactly like the amp. I'm going to crank the bass a little bit. You can see it sounds a lot fuller now, and I've only got the bass around 11 o'clock. Again, the bypass tone. Euphoria with the bass up. You can hear it's biting a little bit more as well. Bypassed. Euphoria. Okay, so really big difference. Now I'm going to move over to the Colossus, which obviously is a whole different beast. Remember, I've got the gain on the Colossus down at about 830. I mean, you can hear how massive it sounds. Bypassed Colossus. I often wonder why people don't use a muff variant for their distortion pedal, because I mean, you can get a really good just classic rock tone out of this with the gain turned down. And so you can go from everything from, classic rock stuff like that to really drenched, deep sustain. I'm going to turn it up now to a little over noon. That's with it not even remotely all the way up. I'm going to back the tone off a little bit. Sustains like crazy, And then if you do want to get crazy with it, you can crank the mids all the way up. We're not really at bedroom volume anymore there, so let's turn that down a bit. with the mids all the way cranked and the gain a little above noon on the Colossus. I'm going to back it off to where I had it at the beginning, so the mid's a little above noon and the gain about 9 o'clock, and show you lastly how the Colossus and the Euphoria work together. Because if you know anything about muffs, you know that when you run it into a big muff, into an overdrive, after the muff, it can smooth it out. This one is already incredibly smooth. That's why I ended up with the Colossus. It's basically the smoothest big muff on the market that I could find. I don't like the ratty fuzz. I don't like the fizz. I don't like the sizzle. I don't like grainy overdrive. That's why I ended up with these two very smooth pedals. But if you run a muff into an overdrive, it smooths it out even more, and you get really beautiful sounds. Okay, so here's the Colossus on its own. Here's it into the Euphoria with the gain back down around 1030. So that's kind of the tone right there as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so final thoughts. I really think you can do everything with these two pedals. For the purposes of this demo, obviously I didn't show you everything they can do. I only showed you one of 3 toggle settings on each pedal. The Euphoria, again, can actually get sort of fuzzy if you max the gain on one of the other toggle settings. I just don't find that it excels at that. It's really beautiful at that transparent, mild to medium overdrive, and is an always-on pedal, basically. It's something you can just always leave on. It's going to enhance your tone, make it sound bigger, bolder, livelier. The Colossus, as you saw from my list at the beginning, I've had all manner of distortion pedals, you know, Marshall in a box, including the Wampler Plexi, but they don't sound good at low volume, in my opinion, not like this Colossus. I was playing at sort of medium volume today, what would probably get you in trouble in some apartments. Totally fine for a detached home, depending on, you know, the rest of your family members' tolerance levels. But both of these pedals sound just as good with it at nearly whisper volume, basically the lowest volume that you can use on a tube amp. So highly recommend both of these. I think they're outstanding for all applications, and they're both reasonably priced as well. I mean, you can get both of these, you know, in the $100 to $110 range, 120-ish on the high end used. Okay folks, thanks for joining me. Hope this was helpful. I will see you next time.